Welcome to part 5, I believe. Part 4 had to be interrupted about self-hatred. And so, I was trying to inform y'all about some of the shit I went through when we were on the paper bag test. Or the color wheel. As I have the video on this channel about the color wheel. And the color wheel is really quite simple because if you're black, you know about the color wheel. Alright? Let's keep the shit real. If you're black, you know about the color wheel and the paper bag test. Would you like to see the paper bag test? So this is the paper bag test. You see how light this paper bag is? If you're this light, you're very close to white. Yeah. So, if you're this brown or darker, you're very close to black. I'm gonna tell y'all some messed up ass shit. First time I heard about the paper bag test, I was like 14 years old. People were doing paper bag tests. And I was in either school or somewhere in the projects. I'm pretty sure I was in school. We're going to say I was in school because I can't remember. But somebody came up to me and showed me the paper bag. And they put it up beside my arm. It's like, yeah, you got a lot of white in you. It's the same thing you do like when you do the buttercup test. I know you're probably all too young to know what the fuck that is. But the buttercup test to see if you like butter is when people take a buttercup off the ground and put it to your chin, and if it shines, you like butter. Okay? I just could have smooth skin. I might not like butter, but yeah, I like butter. I like the fuck out of butter. But anyway, it's the same shit, only it's with a paper bag to see how close you are to actually being black. Alright? So, they would compare your skin tone to a paper bag. Nowadays, we call that the fucking color wheel. Because you have off-white, high yellow, brown, or caramel, or caramel, because they about run the same. And you have chocolate, dark chocolate, darker chocolate, omega dark chocolate, and black as fuck. Alright? Now that probably just offended a lot of black people. But this is the shit that was thrown in my face because I'm mixed. You'll never be one of us. You're not one of us. You're not dark enough to date us. You're not good enough to date us. And that is what led to me swearing a lot. Because everybody black that I knew cussed like sailors. And to get black girls, I assumed that I had to cuss. And I cussed, and I cussed, and I cussed. And it still didn't work out. And then the two black girls that almost completely nullified my idea of what black relationships were going to be stopped me from dating black chicks ever again. So we have S, who almost got me killed. And we have T, who broke my heart, and I tried to break her face by making her crash her spree. And I kicked her new boyfriend off my porch. You guys can go find these videos. I talk about this shit all the time. So, let me make this clear. My self-hatred was homegrown by my own damn people. I've had more racist incidents from black people. Mr. Fuck Trump supporters is a black man who has given me all kinds of flack about shit. Shit that I have no control over. Shit that I have no say in. Shit that is not my fault. But yet, he clapped at me. And instead of clapping back, I've made 5 videos. 5 videos on why not to clap back. 5 videos to let this young man understand where I come from. 5 videos to let this young man understand that I am of mixed ethnicity. And that I don't get a say in my skin tone. I don't get a say in my race because I am all three of the primary races that made this country what it is. Sometimes it's a great country, sometimes it's a fucking cesspool of racist individuals who don't like each other because somehow or another, hatred is a thing. And that it is okay for us to hate each other until something goes wrong, and then we need each other. And then when something goes wrong, we hate each other again because something went wrong that made us need each other, that made something else go wrong and make us hate each other, but we still need each other, and the circle never ends. So let me break it down for y'all. Self-hatred is a thing. And unfortunately in the black community, it is the biggest thing ever. There's self-hatred in Asian community. There's self-hatred in white community. And let me explain how that works for you who are Asian and for you who are white, who already know how this works. There are levels. Alright? So for white people, but it's easier to go for the white people first because it's easier to explain. White people, for their self-hatred levels, are the white people who don't have the financial level that the majority of white people have. Those white people who are living like in substandard homes, you know, they don't have the ability to get great jobs, they don't have a good education, they don't have a certain amount of white privilege that they think that they should have, that a lot of us assume that they have when they don't, because they are just as poor as blacks and poor Asians, and they live just like we live. So if you are one of those white people who grew up in the projects, you know our struggle, because I'm mixed and I grew up in the projects, and we had mixed people there and we had white people there. So if you don't know that white people do live in the projects, you are blind as a fucking bat. Yes, there are white people. I know brilliant white people who lived in the projects. And it wasn't like they had a choice. They were fucking poor. Just like our poor asses. They were poor. I'm not going to name them. I love them. I respect them. And I'm not going to name them. And they're probably doing fucking well now. And I hope that they are. Now, for poor Asian people, the level's a whole lot different. The level's a whole lot different. And this is the thing that whites and blacks don't understand on how Asian culture works and how the level is different. And this also counts for reservations as well. A lot of people who are lower level on the totem pole in Asian culture, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, etc., even to the Native American reservations, the lower you are on that totem pole, the less people respect you and the less people treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. And sometimes that happens to do with skin tone as well, you know, because the closer you are to light, a lot of people treat you like your light skin is fucking royalty. And the only places that doesn't really work out for you is like in the big cities like Shanghai and Hong Kong and shit like that, because all of them pretty much have the same fucking skin tone because of the geographical location. Where if I live like in Laos or if I live like in Vietnam, where my skin tone is exactly what you see right here, right now, unless I live like in the cities of those areas, where if I lived in a tropical place, I'm going to have moist heat, which is going to tan my ass and make me look like I am a Samoan, and people are going to say either I'm a Samoan or I am a dust child or I am dirt, and they're going to treat you as such. Understand how that works, because the dust children philosophy is a true thing too. And if you are a child of a white man and an Asian woman, you're a little bit higher on the totem pole than if you are a child of a black man and an Asian woman from Vietnam, and you were just left there because they don't like dust children very much. Alright? Now, the reason why they do that is just it's a dishonorable thing. And 9 times out of 10, these women were forced into these comforts that American soldiers and Allied soldiers and stuff had. And whether you want to believe it or not, that's just the way it was. And to some people, that made the U.S. and the Allied forces the bad guys. And as all things, and I'm going to say this, even though I was a last day soldier myself, I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. If you are in a country that's at war, whether the Allies have come to liberate you, or rather you are on the side that is fighting for your country for whatever belief you believe it should stay the way it is, you don't know what side or what orders have been given to the other side. Understand that. Because, alright, for a lot of people with the Korean War and the Vietnamese War, America was the bad guys. Alright? Now, if you go back further to World War II, where Fat Man and Little Boy was deployed, a lot of people would say that America was the bad guys because we retaliated for Pearl Harbor, but we blew up like cities that had people living in it, where Pearl Harbor technically was a naval port that was destroyed and stuff like that was going on. So depending on how you want to victimize it or colonize it or spit the truth out, whatever your version of the truth is versus my version of the truth versus what actually fucking happened, is how this shit happens. But for lower level Asians, the lower level of your finances and stuff is how you will be treated. And this is also a thing for China. If you're poor Chinese versus wealthy Chinese, you are going to be treated differently. It's the same thing where if you're poor white versus wealthy white. It's the same thing if you're poor black versus wealthy black. Yes, there are some wealthy black people out here. And some of them tend to forget that they actually are black. So, it's just a thing, and it happens. And if you think that it doesn't happen, then you are mistaken. And this is the thing about having knowledge. We all have levels that we must see right in front of us. And sometimes we don't pay attention because it doesn't affect us directly. Alright? Sometimes we do pay attention, and even if it does affect us directly, we still stay the fuck out of it because we're like, I'm kind of scared, it's not my business, And I get that. I get that a lot. However, self-hatred starts from within your culture. My color wheel experience, or my paper bag test, I just fucked up, or whatever the hell I just hit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. But whatever the hell I just hit just fucked up something. But anyway, when you are raised by people who try to treat you right, where society, on the other hand, slaps everything you've been taught in the face. And because certain people in society hate themselves, so they start hating you, it starts rubbing off on you. And then you start to hate yourself, because this is what self-hatred does. It doesn't influence you to do the right thing to others. It influences you to degrade, put down, or do some shit that people don't seem to get. And then while you're dealing with that, at that same time, you have to understand that you are not helping yourself by believing the shit that people are telling you, like me being called the half-breed for the bulk of my life. And then after finding out I'm part Native American, how it got from bad to worse when I started working, and this one guy would not stop calling me fucking chief for 3 fucking years. Like straight. 3 years, man. Straight up and down, 3 years. When I stopped fucking calling me chief, and the more I begged him to not call me chief, the more it was an invitation for him to call me chief. So when you talk about self-hatred, I hated being mixed. I swear to God, I hated being mixed. I hated being mixed until I was like 25, man. And then it was different. It was a little bit less of an issue when people would ask me versus being in grade school, yeah, you're a half-breed. And it was a whole lot different when people would come to you and say, hey, I want to ask you something. I don't want to hurt your feelings, and I don't want to offend you, but I need to know, because some people just need to know. It's like, what are you mixed with? And it's like, well, I'm part black. Yeah, we can see that. We can see that by your arms and your legs and stuff, but what else are you mixed with? I said, oh, well, I also have some white in me, and I also have Cherokee Indian. It's like, that's what we're looking for. So, you live and you learn, and you either learn right or you burn learning. And that was the thing, a lot of my self-hatred came from racist incidents, and a lot of it was black on me, and then it became white on me, and then it became 2 incidences of Native Americans on me. But they were not from Cherokee culture or whatever. But it was one of them things that kind of set with me for quite some time. And I'm like, this kind of fucking sucks, because this guy's just calling me chief, and he doesn't understand that I don't like that shit, or he doesn't give a damn. And with the black people, it was, you're not really a N-word, you're the half N-word, and you're not really a H-word, you're the half H-word. And then everywhere I went, it was half-breed, half-breed, half-breed. And a lot of people who aren't mixed don't understand it. We don't have a fucking support group. Alright? We don't. We do not have a mixed ethnicity support group. We have to go through life and accept a lot of the shit that we can't fix. And then there's the paper bag test or the color wheel. And when you get into the color wheel, the color wheel totally screws everybody who's black. Now, Asians, you don't have a color wheel. Whites, y'all don't have a color wheel. But black people, we have a color wheel. And the color wheel, it has no mercy. It has no mercy, because the darker blacks hate the lighter blacks, and this thing's gone on for years and years, and you want to know why a lot of black people kill each other over really, really stupid shit. Well, a lot of black people have been killed over skin tone by darker and lighter blacks. Oh, you're too dark to be with us. Boom! And then you have the Hollywood depiction of black people. And the dark-skinned black guy is always the fucking bad guy. And sadly, that's how it's always been. It needs to change, but it never changes because no one really has the darker-skinned black guy being the fucking hero. Now, we'll give a shout-out to Black Panther because he was a little bit darker than some people, but he was still in that middle spectrum of not being too light, not being too dark. Alright? Where I am closer to the lighter spectrum versus the darker spectrum. And it's just a fact. You can't deny that when you look at me. You can yeah. You're a little bit lighter than most black people, And then it's the same thing in the other direction, when the good guy who is light skinned plays the hero, It's always going to be that way until we change it. And so if we have a guy write a script and have the guy who's playing the black man be a darker skinned black man but be the hero, excuse me, we rarely find that acceptable. And then we rarely make movies like that, And further note, before I go, I don't know whatever became of the John Henry movie that The Rock was going to make, but everybody was giving The Rock flack because The Rock wanted to play John Henry. Now, shout out to The Rock on that because, one, everybody before he had rumors out of him wanting to produce and make a John Henry movie and him playing John Henry, everybody was jumping on The Rock shit. You don't ever play a black person. You don't ever play a black person. Hobbs was Samoan, or whatever, but he wasn't a black person. See that? That in itself is an example. You guys can go find the tabloids about that shit. And Rock doesn't clap back about it, and I respect the fuck out of that dude for that shit. And I'm only a year younger than him, but I respect the fuck out of him. He doesn't pop off and say, yeah, I play a Samoan. And you have to understand how he grew up. He grew up in the wrestling world. Most of his life, he probably knows more about Samoan culture than black culture. And, we don't really know how his life was going. We don't know his backstory other than what he's doing on Little Dewey. I need a job, Rock. Anyway, we don't know. But it's the same thing with Tiger Woods, alright? A lot of people jumped down Tiger's shit when Tiger was popping off, and they were like, oh, well, Tiger doesn't think he's black. And Tiger got a lot of fucking flack from black people. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Tiger can deny it, but I know, all of his fans know, Tiger got a lot of fucking flack from black people that weren't his fans. His black fans were like, all of their kids and everybody black, I'm going to be the next Tiger Woods. And all the Asian kids were saying the same shit. I'm going to be the next Tiger Woods. But Tiger and Rock both got flack for not doing more black-oriented shit. Alright? Now, the thing that they have in common is both their moms are Asian. Rock's mom is Samoan. Tiger's mom is Taiwanese. Now, all the black people were jumping down both of their asses. So, they can relate to the shit that I said about growing up in school and being called a half-breed and the color wheel test and all this other shit. So, the one time The Rock decides he wants to make a movie that's pro-black, all the black people give him flack. So, what's wrong with this picture? And then you wonder why he wants to make sure that his character is a fucking Samoan. Of course, if you were being rejected by your own people all the fucking time, you would want to be the person that people are accepting. Alright? So yeah, if his character's playing Samoan, so be it. You know, it's working for him. So I'm going to have to go ahead and put my bid in, and I'm going to have to just start playing a Native American because it might be the only chance that I'm going to get acting work. It might be the only chance I have. I'm mixed. I'm proud to be mixed, but goddamn it, being mixed hasn't gotten me any fucking jobs. So if I have to be all-blooded Cherokee, then so fucking be it. I won't deny my black heritage if asked, but yeah, being mixed with black and Native American and white hasn't gotten me any work in Hollywood or anywhere in the world, period, other than my own shit. And my good shit got stolen. So I have to find all this footage and try to put that shit all the way fucked back together again. God only knows if that's ever going to happen. You know, I may have to pay somebody to do it. But that being said, you know, I'm going to end this video on this note. You know, the color wheel. It is a thing that black people have. The lighter you are, the closer you are to white. The highly prestige that a lot of people in the middle and on the other end of that spectrum feel towards you. They also feel that you have stabbed us in the back for some shit that you can't help. Alright? Now, on the other end of that spectrum, the darker the person is, the closer they are to the African roots. I do not know what asshole came up with this concept. Excuse me. I don't know who came up with this shit. I really don't give a damn. But self-hatred, man. Self-hatred is a thing that we will carry with us until the end of time if we don't grow the fuck up and try to make a change. So, as I close out, to Mr. Fuck You Trump supporters, I hope that I have enlightened your ass on something, man. I am not here to start any fucking internet drama. I don't have time for keyboard warriors. I don't have time to clap back. All I wanted to do is let you know where I stand. And on whatever the article is, whatever the hell you're mad as fuck at me about, get over it, dude. Because I'm not going to change your mind, and I'm not going to keep trying. I'm done trying to change people's minds on shit. It's not something that I can do. I can't make you like me. If you like me for the kung fu videos I do, yay, watch them all, share them, love them. If you watch me for this political bullshit that I do, don't share it. I try not to do political shit at all, because politics are bad. But I will say this, for the most part, politicians, they only give a fuck about your vote. And then when they get in the job, they're fighting each other so badly that they don't realize what they're doing to the rest of the world. Because here's the thing about you being a politician. You're working for the government, you're getting paid by the government, and even when the government shuts down, guess what? You still get paid. But everybody else, the little guys, the lackeys, the me's in the world who don't have decent jobs, who don't have a job where I can take off and be still paid because I don't have a company like that, you know, we're the ones that are suffering, but we voted you in. And then if we get the lesser of two evils and vote someone else in who tells us the same bullshit that you told us, but then you have to fight the guys in the office to keep seeing who's going to help us. As long as you're fighting each other over shit that benefits the little guys, we're never going to have shit. And that's going to be the influx of America until the end of time. Now, some people say communism works, and it works for China. It's worked for China for millions of years, and that's what China does, and that's fine by me. I don't really give a shit because I don't live in fucking China. But I am going to tell you this. We're all human beings. No one feels it worse than the poor. The politicians don't feel shit because they're not missing out on a damn thing when they're in that office trying to figure out, well, let's see what we can do about fixing the light bills this month. Oh, our light bill was free because we annexed our government, and whoever the power company is, they have to give us our lights or we'll jack their taxes up. So, yep, here, White House has lights. We also have emergency generators and all kinds of other shit. But everyone else, we can have a complete United States shutdown. And those poor people who have to work for a living, like me, won't get shit. Thank you for watching. Scumfabit number 2. Mr. Fuck You Trumps, I hope you learned something about me. Be seeing ya.